Okay, so this video is going to be on the writing section. Once you get to this section, you are given some advice. You are advised to spend 1 hour on this section. Now, because it is worth half the marks for the exam, you really should spend an hour on this question. You should spend 25 minutes on question 5 because it's worth less marks than question 6, where you spend 35 minutes. Okay, so for question 5, it will either be an inform, an explain, or a describe question where you have to write for those purposes. And what this question is really looking for is, can the student write for different purposes? Okay, so let's have a read of this question. Write a short article for a nature magazine describing an aspect of the natural world that you find beautiful. So as you can see in bold, you are meant to be describing. Now in the exam tomorrow, that word might be describing, it might be informing, or it might be explaining. And what you need to be able to do is to use different language techniques to that purpose. Now, because it is describing, we use the acronym APE-STOMP. Because what that does is it gives us techniques for describing. So we're not going to be using facts and we're not going to be using statistics because that's more for inform. We are looking at language techniques to describe. So alliteration, powerful verbs and adjectives, emotive language, similes, senses, tripling, onomatopoeia, metaphors, and personification. And that gives you the techniques. If you use those, especially similes, senses, personification, and metaphors, I'm just going to circle those, that really will make your writing sound more descriptive. Now, if the question tomorrow read, write an article informing, you would go more for facts, statistics, expert opinions. Okay, you would want to be unbiased. Okay, if the question tomorrow was explaining, you want to focus on the 5 W's. So who, what, when, where, and why, and mainly focusing on why and how. Okay, you could also use some aspects of a forest. Okay, because you've got the statistic in there and the facts, and then you've got the opinions as well, and also you've got anecdote, which is really good for explain. So I would say for explain, you can still use a forest, but why and how is the most important. Okay, but this question, it's describing. Also for the writing, you need to make sure you're using a range of punctuation and that you're using some different sentences. So short sentences, longer sentences, complex sentences. So I might write down some complex sentence starters just to remind me that I've got to write some sentences with these ones. So I know that complex sentence starter is although, as I, despite. Okay, and in your revision guide, you've got quite a few there that you could learn. Okay, so what you could do as you are writing this is a nice sort of initial reminder of what you need to do. So as you're writing, you can sort of tick off when you've done all of those things. Now, it is really important for this question that you also plan an answer and also that you understand the question. Okay, so what I would need to think about is an aspect of the natural world you find beautiful. So natural world, so I know that it needs to be obviously not man-made. I need to describe something, maybe something outside. Now, what you've got here from the source material is something perfect for that. And what they will do, the exam will do, is they will provide source material that matches the writing questions. So that if you get stuck, I don't know an aspect of the natural world I find beautiful. I've never sort of done anything like that before. You could just have a look at this, look at the woodlands. That's an aspect of the natural world. I'm going to describe the woodlands in the UK as an aspect of the natural world I find beautiful. And what I've got there is I've got some information about the woodlands in the UK that I can use, and I've also got this lovely description of autumn as well. So what I'm going to be doing is describing the woodlands. You might want to go for something else in the natural world you find beautiful. You would have to think about an aspect of the natural world you find, but it has to be outside. It has to be not man-made, okay? And then what you can do is you can use this for ideas. Now, don't copy anything. So you wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to see anything, I wouldn't want to see any sentences copied out. So obviously don't copy out whole sentences, but you can use it for ideas, like burst of colour. Maybe you can use that in a certain way. You've got some lovely words here that you could possibly use. Rapidly, spectacular sunsets. Maybe you're going to describe a beach. Okay, that's an aspect of the natural world that you would like to describe, is a beach, and maybe you describe a spectacular sunset at the beach. A burst of colour with this, that the sunset gives. Okay, so you see how you can use the ideas from the source material to help your answer. Okay, so what you would need to do is plan it really quickly. So what I would do is I would do paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and just write some ideas about what I'm going to talk about for each one. But do not spend more than 5 minutes. If you get down to paragraph 2 and you haven't started, it's been 5 minutes, really should just make a start because you want these marks, okay? But it is good to plan it out first so you know what you're going to describe, okay? So the natural world, if I'm going to describe the beach, one paragraph could be just about the sunset at a beach. Another could be about the glory, like the palm trees and the sand and the sea, maybe the sights and sounds, etc., etc. Okay, so paragraph 3 might be an anecdote of time I went there and this is what I found beautiful. So the main thing is that you're describing something that's beautiful. Okay, so what I would like you to do is time yourself writing an answer to this question for 25 minutes. What you would need to do is plan for 5 minutes and then write for 20 minutes, remembering to use a range of punctuation, which you could plan for. So paragraph 1, I'm going to use semicolon, question mark. Paragraph 2, I'm going to use a colon. Paragraph 3, I'm going to use exclamation mark, another semicolon so I can really use it, maybe a bracket, and you get the general idea. And that will make sure that you are ticking off all of those boxes, okay? So have a go, pause this video, write your answer. Okay, so you should have written an answer by now, so you should have a short article for a Nature magazine. You might have written a heading, because it is a article, you might have written a heading, but obviously, as I've said, don't draw pictures because that is a waste of time. So what I would like you to do is just go through, check you've used some aspects of ape stomp, check you've used a range of punctuation, a range of sentences. Have you started with some more complex sentence starters? And again, you can use the writing revision pack to help you with some of these because these aren't the only ones. We've got although, despite, as I, and many more that you can choose from. Okay. Once you've had a go at that, swap with a partner, see what they think. If you would like to have a go at some more of these, there are some more question 5s for inform or explain in your revision packs. Now, because this is the latest exam, I do doubt there will be a describe question that comes up, but you never know. Okay, so it might be a inform, it might be an explain. I doubt it will be a describe, but you never know. They might just want to repeat it. But the main thing is, are you communicating well? Have you used commas and full stops correctly? Have you used a range of punctuation, range of sentences? You could throw some one-word sentences in for effect. And has it been planned well? So does each paragraph make sense? Okay, so once you've done that, move on to the last video, which is going to be on question 6, the final question of the exam.